Hi Inovecians, Julia here with another video on the skills that you're going to need to complete that Inovec sweater. This video is a very exciting one. It is how to cast off. Hooray! And that's going to be at the bottom of your sweater where you've done that beautiful cross stitch ribbing again. And of course it's going to be the arms of your sweater as well where you will have done that cross stitch ribbing. So if you're like me, you've probably mostly only used one cast off in your life, and that's the standard one, right? That's you knit 2 stitches, and then you take the first one from the right hand needle and you slip it over and off the needle. Makes a lot of sense. And then you go until all of them are gone except for one, and then you tie off and it's lovely, right? But just like normal stitches, there's a ton of different ways to cast off that all have different purposes. Some are decorative, some are stretchier, some are tighter, and it just depends on what your general purpose is. So the Inovec calls for a slightly different cast off, but it's pretty standard. We are still reducing the number of stitches as we go along. So let's see. Remember, I'm still going to this is my sweater. This is my waist yarn here. I will be showing you how to pick up stitches to pick up for that arm. Don't you worry about it. But first things first, I'm going to show you, I have a new camera set up. That's my phone right there. So I'm going to show you this my beautiful ribbing. And we're in section 6, the cast off line. So I'll read this to you. It says, knit 2 together through the back loop, slip the stitch on the right hand needle, back to the left hand needle, and repeat. Okay, pretty simple. So here I am. This is my stitch marker, my improvised stitch marker there. I have done all my beautiful ribbing and my short rows, and I've conquered everything. I feel really good. So I'm going to take that stitch marker. I've thrown it over there. It's gone. Okay. So my last row would have been a repeat of round 1, which is the crossed stitch. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to knit 2 together through the back loop. And of course, through the front loop is we take our needle and we go through the front to the left of the stitches. And the great thing about this so far is that the stitches are already kind of paired, right? They've been paired by the cross stitch. So when you do the first one, it wants to be together. Those 2 stitches want to be together. But I want to knit through the back loop, right? And so that means that instead of going over and to the left of the stitches, I'm going under and through the right. So that's 1. I want to make sure I get both of them, which, can be a little tricky. Okay, I'm there. I've done it. I'm getting a little more yarn. I am going to knit those 2 together through the back loop. It's kind of tight. And there I am. I have reduced 2 stitches to 1. And now it says slip the stitch on the right hand needle back to the left hand needle. I'm doing that. Okay. And now you see that the next 2 are paired together, but I'm going to have to sort of divide them, Romeo and Juliet style, going to have to separate them apart and knit this one and the next one together through the back loop. So this one's very easy. It's right there. And then I'm going to dig into the second one. I am going to knit through the back loop. And I am going to take that stitch on the right hand needle and send it to the left hand needle. Okay, so I'm just going to do that a bunch of times. I'm going to knit 2 together through the back loop. And then I am going to slip this over there. Do you notice like how, maybe you can't see, but it's starting to bend. Like the last or the first cross stitch rib is starting to bend around the corner. So that's kind of what's going to happen here. And then I'm going to take those 2, not 3. I don't want to do 3. those two through the back loop. And gotta advance a little bit. There we go, and slip it over to the left-hand needle. Knit 2 together through the back loop, and that one really wanted to slip right away. Slip it over to the left-hand needle. Knit 2 together. Nope. Yeah, see, it's really easy to catch the crossed stitch that's on the back there. Okay, there we go. Knit 2 through the back loop. Make sure they pop off, and then send it over. So you start to see that chain of the cast off is forming, right? And so it's dividing these all up together. It's creating a really neat little chain there. So that's kind of how that works. Pretty simple. Just a word to the wise, and this is true about every cast off and cast on. Be gentle with it. Don't pull as tight as you can. Remember, the sweater, this is at the bottom of your sweater. You want to make sure that you can get it on and it doesn't feel sort of tense and tight when you go to stretch it to put it over your body. So you want to make sure that that's just a nice even tension, not too tight, not too loose. And I'm just going to do a couple more for good measure. So remember, I'm going to knit 2 together through the back loop. There we go. And I'm going to move that to the left-hand needle. And knit 2 together through the back loop. Move it over to the other needle. Knit 2 through the back loop, and switch it over to that needle. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. So again, there we go. We're forming that nice little chain, and pretty soon we will have our sweater off of these circular needles, and we'll be ready to go on the sleeves. So I hope you all have some happy knitting, and I will see you in our last skill for this Inovec. Bye!